Hello everyone, this is me Kapil Sikka. Welcome you all to StudyIQ education platform. In today's video, we are going to discuss a very important issue, that is sustainable development. As you can see that in Kerala, granite scarcity is coming up. This scarcity is usually or is because of the government ban on quarrying. The reason behind the ban is because the environmentalist doesn't want the quarrying should happen in the ecologically sensitive zones. It is specifically with regard to the Wayanad district where government has banned the quarrying of granite, and it is just being banned because a lot of forests are being cleared up because of this reason. But as we always say, there is development and there is sustainable development. So something should go hand in hand. On one side, there are various construction projects which are facing delays. On the other side, there is a protection and preservation of environment which should also happen simultaneously. So the government of Kerala right now is exploring other options, how this can be done, how various ecologically sensitive zones should not be disturbed, and meanwhile at the same time the construction should also happen. As you can say, the Kerala is right now doing up or coming up with many projects where a lot of requirement there is a lot of requirement of construction projects and specific or construction material, and specifically that is of granite. As you can see, has become a very important you can say material in daily construction activities. So in this video we'll be discussing what are the options, what exactly environmentalists want, and how the government is responding to the crisis. For all kinds of PDF, you can follow me on my Telegram channel. You can also follow me on Twitter. This is the map of Wayanad. As you can see, on the north lies Bandipur. It is in the northern tip is adjoining or bordering Karnataka, and the eastern tip is adjoining Tamil Nadu. So this is a lush green forest land. Over here you will also find various wildlife sanctuaries, whether it is Bandipur, whether it is Wayanad, whether it is Muddumalai Tiger Reserve. So everything is in vicinity. So obviously this becomes a eco-sensitive zone of the country. At the same time, this also houses or is home to various exotic animals. Now let us see what the Kerala government has or is doing right now. Kerala government has come up with various ambitious projects like Silver Line semi-high speed railway line that is connecting the northern Kerala to the southern Kerala. That will obviously come or go via the Western Ghats. Apart from that, there are several projects, you can say construction projects, malls, etc., are going on in various districts, and that is why Kerala is facing a dire shortage of construction material. This construction material is in short because of the high demand, and apart from that, there is a ban on or the curbs in the quarrying of the granite because of the ecological concerns. As you can also see on the southern side, on the southern part of Kerala, now southwestern part of Kerala, a port is being also constructed near Thiruvananthapuram. So over there also a lot of material is required, and the government of Kerala is really facing shortage to construct certain kinds of projects. Now locals are now procuring the granite either from Tamil Nadu or the neighboring state or from Karnataka. So because there is a ban on quarrying in the revenue land, and now there is a severe shortage going on. This severe crisis, as I have already told you, is there to strike a balance or is there to strike a ecological balance between the development and the existing resources, forest resources. So what government can do if physical infrastructure is at stake? As we all know that construction, physical infrastructure happens to be very important part and parcel of the development of the country. You want growth, you need to develop. If you want to develop, you want right kind of growth, you need to extract the resources from the earth. And ultimately, those resources have to be utilized, and these are something called exhaustible resources. Once they are utilized, obviously, there will be some kind of damage to the forest areas. And this is the forest land where so many lush green forests are available. So now in this Wayanad area, because as you can see that government has banned, so what other options usually environmentalist or the government is exploring? As of now, the government has banned only in the revenue land. So the environmentalists are saying either you can transfer such kinds of extractions to the local panchayats or the local bodies. Local bodies have the rights over the land, and ultimately they'll be also part and parcel in the development process. So whatever construction material is required, that can be sourced from that local panchayats. They will also have a revenue earning, and ultimately that can be utilized in the construction areas. Apart from that, because the land belongs to the people over there, people will have a proper, you can say, they'll be using it accordingly. They'll not be extracting it more than it is required. So there'll be a kind of justifiable use. There will be a kind of very efficient use of the resources available over there. As you can see that these quarries are extracting the granite, then they are transferring it to the various places, and because of the shortage, the prices are booming up, and ultimately the cost of construction will escalate. And if it will escalate, so it will create another kind of problem in the construction projects. So as you can see, around 150 granite quarrying units have been banned. So now government is exploring what can be done. So obviously they can sources from the adjoining areas, they can transfer the land to the local panchayats, and ultimately local panchayats will find some kind of solution. So you can say a right kind of approach is very much required at this point of time. Otherwise all the construction projects will be delayed. If they'll be delayed, so ultimately the growth will stop, and the country in general will face a lot of crisis when it comes to accounting the GDP, accounting the growth numbers. So let us see what the government can do as of now. So one thing is, there can be some alternative to granite. As we know, granite has become very important part and parcel of construction material. So there can be some kind of alternative to this. There can be some kind of, you can import it from the outside areas, you can import it from the various adjoining areas, you can source it from Rajasthan, but ultimately again that will be a very cost, you can say that will add a lot of cost to the construction projects. So ultimately this is how the government has to regulate the mining. Government has to come up with various kinds of clauses, government has to come up with various kinds of guidelines, operating procedure through which the quarrying can be done. The quarrying can also be regulated. It should not be unregulated in the region as it is as of now. It is widely unregulated, so the government can also come up with the regulation areas. So as we are talking about granite, so let us focus upon the granite as well. What exactly is granite? As you can see in the picture, this is basically a granite stone. How this stone is manufactured, how it is extracted, and how it is finally polished. So this is a wholesome process which is basically done in the quarrying process. As you can see, granite is nothing but a common coarse grained. It is a hard igneous rock. So this is the fact we need to learn, that granite comprises of a hard igneous rock. It chiefly consists of quartz, orthoclase, marcocline, and mica. So granite has been a very important, as I'm saying again and again, it is an important building material since ancient times. So it is oldest and most durable building product. As you can see, all the floorings in your houses, in various malls are done by the granite only. That is very hard, and that hardly sees any wear and tear for a very short, or the wear and tear is very long term in nature. So ultimately this happens to be a durable building material, and it outlasts for a very longer time. But it is not extracted in the same way it is utilized. It is extracted in certain kinds of rocks, and then it is from the certain kind of rocks, then it is processed in the quarrying, where the extraction happens, where the polishing happens, where the physical properties are checked, where the density, fracturing, bedding planes, depth is also checked. Then the grinding process goes on, which cuts the slabs into the slices, and that slices are then finally polished. These slices are finally you can say utilized and cut into the small pieces. So the process also goes with the smoothing the surface and ultimately giving a grainy finish. And once it is grainy finish, finally polishing happens, finishing happens, it comes to your houses, or it goes for the construction area or to the construction buildings. So ultimately we can say it is a conglomerate of various minerals. So there can be one question that granite in itself is a mineral. No, granite in itself is not a mineral per se. It is a composition of various minerals and rocks. The primary minerals are quartz, potassium, feldspar, mica, then you have MP bowls, and then there are other kinds of minerals as well. Typically, larger amount or the largest amount is of quartz, then feldspar is also in a very high quantity, and very low amount of mica is also present in the granite. So this is what we all need to understand about the granite, and this is what was all about the Kerala problem. So here we can see that exactly development is something which cannot be ignored, but at the same time the forest resources should not be ignored. So that is why we have always said, and that is when the Brundtland Commission, it was rightly said, that any development has to be sustainable nature. Only then our upcoming generations will be able to enjoy the benefits of earth. Hopefully I have made my point clear. So we shall discuss some new topic over and over again. Till then, goodbye, take care, and God bless you all.